All right, and you are listening to the Shuttlecock podcast. My name is Aaron Rhodes. We're sponsored by the Vinyl Underground at Seventh Heaven, offering new and used vinyl at 76 and Troost in Kansas City, Missouri. This week on the show is Alexander Preston. How you doing?
That's good. I'm good, man. How are you?
Couldn't be better. I
Yeah.
mean, maybe. Who knows? So, I've been I think I've been following your music really since 2015 or 16-ish.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because yeah, I know I'm trying to figure out exactly when it would have been, because I did remember listening to your first EP, Magic, and that came out in 2015, but maybe I didn't find it until like slightly later on. Do you remember?
Yeah. Yeah. That came out 2015. I remember putting that on SoundCloud in 2015. So, yeah.
No, yeah, so it might have either been like I might have just found it through like local SoundCloud like links and stuff, or after I may have heard some Zarin Micheal music, I would have like
Yeah.
gone back and found it. But yeah, you put out that instrumental EP in 2015 and then Rogue in 2016.
Yes.
Um, those are both all instrumentals that you produced. Um, so I was wondering if, okay, so you have your new project Ultragrade that just came out. Um, did did you kind of purposely take time in between your own projects? Like did you mean to like spread them out so far?
Uh, Not necessarily.
Mhm.
Ultragrade honestly was an idea I came up with back in about, I want to say like late 2018. I had kind of always kind of flirted around with the idea of, writing my own songs and rapping. Um, and I had some beats at the time that I feel like didn't really fit anybody, or at least the people that I thought would fit, I couldn't get to at the time. So like in between all that time, like I was producing for other people. I worked closely with Zarin. I met Aaron Alexander in 2017, and I started to work closely with him as well. But I kind of kept getting pulled from like different directions and everything.
Mhm.
So yeah, this project honestly came about in about 2018, and it just took a while for it to come to fruition. It wasn't anything intentional or anything like that.
Yeah, and I know you probably feel that you've like the quality of your songs has improved gradually since 2015. But I was wondering if you feel like what you feel like the biggest like kind of artistic like evolution you've gone through in the times like between the first two EPs and at this point.
Um, I feel like as a producer, um, early on, like around 2014, 2015, that's kind of when I started making like rap beats and everything. Um, but between then and now, I think I've really improved on kind of like layering and creating like actual soundscapes with my beats.
Mm.
I feel like initially there was kind of always that hint of that, but it wasn't always like fleshed through, whether it was like working with somebody else or just like making instrumentals. But that's actually one thing that I really strive to do with this. Like you heard it like on like the very first track, Made of Gold. Um, like it just sounds like a movie, and I kind of wanted to do that with this project.
Or, yeah, do you hope to do a like film soundtrack at some point?
Oh yeah, for sure,
Yeah,
for sure.
that'd be fun.
That's one of my goals for sure.
Oh yeah, and this is like you mentioned, this is also your first project where you're contributing vocals to it.
Yeah.
Um, what what led to the decision of you doing that on this project?
Like I said, at the time, like when I first, because originally this was going to be like an instrumental type of thing, but at the time I was making beats that didn't really sound like anything. Um, but like the people I wanted to get on the beats, I didn't have like direct contact to like at the time. So I just thought, why not just try? You know, like I always kind of like written songs and everything like that, and I've kind of just done it for fun. But um, yeah, it was a challenge, but I like challenges, so yeah.
Yeah, where did you kind of find your like do you is there any like source of inspiration you found specifically for when you're doing your songwriting as opposed to just building the instrumentals and stuff?
Uh, I don't know. Like a lot of the time, like when I was even like crafting like the instrumentals for this, and just like kind of sitting down and coming up with ideas and flows and everything, like I had like just 80s themed like shit like on in like the background, like Knight Rider and like Akira. Like I would just like have just imagery, like 80s imagery, like futuristic imagery, and that kind of like led me towards this kind of like cyberpunk, synthy pop, like maximalist kind of like sound that I put forth on this project. So
Oh yeah, I was gonna say because the '80s do have kind of just I don't know how to best describe it, but just everything was like as big as it could be in a lot of ways.
yeah,
So
yeah, exactly.
no, yeah, and you've always like the stuff you've produced. I think has always been like very ambitious and like kind of like it you know because I don't I think it's kind of safe to assume that like Kanye, Travis Scott, Kid Cudi, those are pretty solid influences of yours at least at some point, and
Yeah.
they're all
Kanye,
making rap
Kanye
music that you
started
know
making beats, so most definitely.
yeah no and they're all making kind of like what you could probably call at some point like arena rap, so it
Yeah,
kind of
like
makes sense that
stadium
you're
status type, Yeah,
are,
exactly.
are,
That's exactly what I was looking for. Just like broad stadium status type. So,
were you into the Kids See Ghost project? I don't know if you're a fan of that or not.
oh yeah.
Yeah,
That was like out of all, because Kanye had that like 5 album run where he was like producing like 5 albums in a row.
yeah.
That was that and Daytona were my two favorites for sure, for sure.
Yeah, Daytona is really great. I mean,
Yeah, I still listen to that. 2018 was a crazy year for music.
so yeah, the only other vocal feature on Ultragrade is Talon,
Yeah, Talon.
and yeah, um, I don't really know all that much about him. I know he's kind of just been involved with all the kind of Fearless crew for a moment now. How did you first meet him, and what do you think made him a good fit for that track?
Uh, Tolan I met through, the ignorant art guys. So Aaron Alexander, B Will, who goes by Odds now, Eric Rice. They all went to school together. They all went to Sumner.
Okay.
So um, I remember meeting them, well, meeting Tolan at the lofts. Like we all had like a loft we used to go to in the Crossroads. And it just used to be a place just to kick it. Um, we used to like make music there, come up with ideas, all that. It just turned into like the Fearless Ignorant Loft. So I remember initially meeting him there. Um, he always had like a sound. It was just like it was so unconventional, and that's what I like. Um, it's funny because the beat for Feel I made back in uh, early 2019, and I initially sent it to him. And then he sent some shit back that was just like, it was kind of like a verse and hook. That was like the basis of the song. And then I was like, yo, like I gotta have this for like my own project. Like this sounds too crazy. Um, and I don't know, it was just a match made in heaven. Like we work really well together.
Awesome. And sorry.
Now you're good.
No, yeah. Is there anything like we were just kind of talking about like the kind of maximalist like 80s synth nature of some of your production, but I was wondering if there was anything in specific that you think draws you to that kind of sound, because like it is kind of like this like sci-fi futuristic type thing. And I know you do also have you kind of started producing with like electronic music. So do you think
Yeah.
that kind of like maximalist nature comes from like some of that stuff?
Oh, for sure. Like I like you said, I got my start making EDM, like house music and hardstyle music specifically. And both of those genres, it's kind of party music, dance music. So um, I definitely kind of take bits and pieces from that. Both are kind of just like in your face, like very maximal, I guess you could say. They're just to the extreme, but um, yeah, I definitely got, I guess, that from my EDM side. I still tap into that from time to time. So
Mm. Is there like do you end up like having like any sorts of like phases where you're listening to that like again, or like kind of digging back into it, or is there like new stuff in those genres that you're following right now?
ah man, not really. House kind of, um, but hardstyle, like, that shit is just like it's kind of hard on the ears. Like I got to be in like the mood to listen to that
Mm.
nowadays, at least. But I definitely I definitely listen to house, most definitely, like Kate Tronada and like that's one of my favorite like producers, honestly, Kate Tronada.
Yeah, he's great.
But um, yeah, house is definitely more accessible, and yeah, I still listen to that from time to time.
Mm. So another thing I wanted to discuss was that, 2015, 2016, SoundCloud is like a pretty huge force in like new hip hop and everything.
Yeah,
So, I don't know, and I feel like you kind of had a niche or like a small kind of community of other artists that you fit in pretty well with on there, because like I know you've collaborated with like Ryan Jacob and is it Bijan Amir?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. And and then there's like Lil West. You have that one song with Indica and Lil West, and you've done
yeah.
stuff with Killy and Daxz. And I don't know. I feel like it is like this kind of circle of people that you fit in pretty well with on there. So I wonder if like I don't know. How do you see where if at all like SoundCloud fits into um, hip hop in 2020, or just kind of like how you feel about it then versus now?
Uh, I don't know. Like back then, honestly, SoundCloud was just another outlet for me to showcase my music. I didn't really delve too much into it. Um, I feel like going back now, listening to like some of the stuff on SoundCloud. Like right now, I don't really follow anybody, but like when I did, it's kind of like its own niche in itself. There's like a lot of, um, I guess you could say like emo rap, like pop punk slash like rap. I know like Lil Aaron. I remember hearing about him like way back when. And there are a couple of other guys I remember hearing way back when that are kind of like big now. That have kind of like just taken off just from that little niche. So um, I don't know. I feel like it was kind of like a wave, um, but I don't know. It was just really cool to just see, the progression that some people have made coming from SoundCloud, like like Playboy Cardi and like Lil Uzi, Chance the Rapper even started on SoundCloud, and just to see like where they are now, it's kind of crazy. So
Yep. And so you've been pretty solidly busy this year with at least stuff that's been coming out, like local placements that you've had. So
yeah,
there was you did 2L Clouds, Outside Part 2, and Playboy's Prayer on the Aaron Alexander album, Kush Love Effect.
yep.
And so were some of these like some of the first music you'd worked on with him? Like I'm guessing like were there like singles? Did you work on anything from Memento Mori?
No, no. It's funny because Aaron actually had like a little. It's kind of like a live performance to kind of showcase Memento Mori, and that's actually when I met him for the first time.
Okay.
So um, after that, like me, him, Odds, Eric Rice, like we all kind of like kept in contact from there. And when it was time to work on the next project, they kind of like called me up, and we kind of just zoned in on that. So yeah.
Was that the little show they had at the recording studio, like in Crossroads?
Uh, yeah, it was in the Crossroads. I don't know what it is now. It's not like a thing anymore. I
Yeah.
forgot what it was called. I think it was called Creative Minds.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, yeah, that was way back then. Yeah,
Yeah, that was a cool evening too.
yeah, I think it was 2018.
Yeah, sounds right. Um, yeah, how do you think like your kind of creative relationship with Aaron has changed since you first started working with him? Like, what do you think makes you guys a good pair?
Uh, I I think he just gets it. Like we both just get it. Like we strive to just create um, really really good music. Uh, we just want to create songs that just feel good, um, just to us personally. Like if anybody else likes it, it's a bonus. But he's really easy to work with, and he knows like what he wants to do. So I'm actually working a lot with him right now. I don't want to delve too much into that, but we got a lot of stuff coming on the way. So
Mm.
yeah.
Oh yeah, and but Kush Love Effect, it said volume one on there, so maybe we can assume a volume two. Who's to say? Maybe.
Who knows? Who knows?
And then you had one song that was on the newest Southside Dame project, Pretty Girls Listen to Dame.
Yeah, the title track.
Yeah, you had the title track. Um, did you? I'm assuming you just kind of he's done like shows with like Zarin and Aaron, and I'm assuming you kind of just met him through that whole crew again.
Yeah, yeah. He was on the bill for Fuse 2, which I believe was May of last year. And he came through to the loft just to do like a sound check. And that's when I first met him. Um, we didn't really keep in contact like we had meant to, you know, link up and like work, but it didn't really happen until this year. So yeah. The Pretty Girls Listen to Dame, that beat I actually made like he wasn't like around me. Like when I made it, I just made it at the crib. Um and my boy Ghost um sent like a pack to him. Like he felt that particular beat like Dame would just like slide on, and he killed it. So yeah, from there we've been keeping in contact, and he's another guy that I'm working closely with right now. We got a lot of stuff on the way.
Yeah, and you said you didn't like you that was a song that you made when you weren't hanging out with him. Like, is that what you usually kind of prefer? You usually want to like have a session with people you're working with and kind of better connect that way?
I don't know. Like it kind of varies for me. Like I don't know. It's like an energy type of thing. Like if we connect like on an energy like level, I feel like we can most definitely like lock in and get some music done. Um, I honestly prefer just making beats like alone, but I think it's also really good to just lock in with the artist like face to face. It's always really good. So yeah.
Oh yeah, and Dame's also someone I've been following for at least like 3 or 4 years, and at first I wouldn't have figured that I think that you two would like have a because I don't know, I think your styles are a little bit different, but I think you're both versatile enough to like be able to meet the other because no yeah I think Zarin has always kind of uh enjoyed rapping on the kind of like on your style of production. It's kind of like a little futuristic, a little synthy, and all that. But
Yeah.
I think Dame's style has been a little more like traditional, like pop rap, R&B type stuff. Like, so were you worried that you may not work well together, or like did you like, I don't know, how long have you been following him too? Like, did you think it would be kind of weird?
Not really, not really. Because like my style is kind of changing too, and I'm able to kind of meet artists halfway.
Mm.
Before, like when I started, because like I've only been making beats for real for like I want to say like 5 years for real. But around the time when I started, it was a little difficult because I only kind of knew like one style, um, and I didn't know how to, you know, kind of like put like my ideas on canvas properly. Um, but with Dame, I don't know. It's like with the stuff that we're making right now, it's easy. Like we're building chemistry right now, so um, it's kind of easy. We're able to kind of meet each other halfway, and I know what he likes. He knows like what I'm capable of doing, so nothing's ever too difficult.
Oh, yeah, and you also had two songs on Zarin's Foreign Boy project. You had Faith and HBK, I think.
Yeah, HBK.
Um, I don't know. Does this set of songs feel different at all to you than any of the past work you've done together, considering how long your creative relationship's been?
Yeah, a little bit. Um, the it's funny because the Faith song, like I sent him that beat. That's a beat I've had since 2017, and like he's had it and he's always wanted to just write to it. Um, but like when he was working on Foreign Boy, like it kind of just came to him, just like off rip. So um, with HBK, I kind of feel like that's a little bit more accessible sound because I feel like a lot of the stuff I make is kind of like hard hitting. Um, but I'm kind of, I don't want to say dumbing it down, but I'm just like letting the artist more so do what he needs to do or he or she needs to do on the beat
Mm.
more so than kind of just, you know, I don't know how to say it, like kind of like be like, I don't know. Like I'm kind of like dumbing it down just a little bit, and just giving the artist like a little bit more room to breathe.
Mm.
So it just feels different to me.
No, I don't think there's anything wrong with dumbing it down every once in a while.
Yeah, yeah. And I don't mean it in a bad way. It's
No, yeah.
just like I feel like a lot of the beats I used to make were kind of, they were like, it was like I was making beats to impress other producers, and I never really wanted to do that in the first place.
Mm.
But I kind of like started to morph into that. But now I'm definitely making beats, um, like with the artist in mind first and foremost,
Yeah.
and it's been working out, you know, with Aaron and Zarin and Dame. So yeah.
Yeah, so maybe it's like, I mean, dumb it down for those who follow the conversation. That makes sense, but maybe less is more is maybe
Yeah,
a better way to say
exactly,
it. Yeah.
exactly.
Um. So yeah, you and so I know like you were always around for like the few shows and stuff, and you'll occasionally have done like a DJ set or a producer set here and there, but
Yeah,
like for the most part, you were kind like, I don't know, I didn't see you out all the time, so
yeah.
I
I'll
can't
go.
imagine the pandemic has like completely screwed with your thing. You're kind of just doing your thing still.
Nah, bro. Like outside is closed, bro. Like I don't go outside, so it's like this is perfect for me. Like back when like we were in like full lockdown,
Mm.
like that was perfect. So I don't know. Like all I really do is I work, whether it be going to work or making beats, writing ideas here and there.
Mm.
Like I really wanted to get this project out because I've just had it, you know, just kind of like tucked away uh, for a while. So I'm really glad I did that. Um, yeah, I like a long time, bro. Like
Do
I
you
love.
wish you could have done like a release show for it?
Yeah, um, yeah, but I don't know, bro. It's the times. Like I honestly wouldn't feel safe doing something like that,
Yeah.
just with the virus and everything. So
Um, so there's the music video for "Feel," the song with Tolan. Do you see any like other music videos happening with the project, or any other type of like rollout or content from it, or are you kind of just moving on to the next thing already?
I want to do a video for Made of Gold. Um, that's the intro song on
Mm.
there. Um, I've got like a little like a video planned as well for as far as like the rollout goes. That'll come out like within the next week or two. But honestly, I'm kind of moving on. I just want to move on because I've had, like I said, I've had these songs for quite a while, and like just listen to them over and over again. Like it's painful, you
Yeah.
know. Like I kind of get tired of them, so I just want to move on and create something even better.
Mm. Yeah, I think like until you've done um like I don't know if people listening or watching like don't make their own music or like are friends with anyone that do. I think some people may not realize that like by the time a project comes out, there's a
Yeah,
very good chance the artist is like sick of those songs and like does not even want to like play them or talk about them or whatever. So
literally. Like I remember watching like an interview, Tom York from Radiohead. He was talking about the song Creep, and like he was like that song, like they worked on that song for quite a while, and that song ended up being like one of their biggest hits. And he's like he's just completely tired of performing that song. He's completely tired, like he just hates it. So like I'm like, God damn, like the guy that finally, like the guy that understands, like it's the same shit I'm going through. So yeah.
yeah. Oh yeah, and you've always kind of had an interest in like I remember we talked about a lot of like 90s punk music, like 80s and 90s punk and like pop punk
Yeah.
and stuff. Is there anything that's come out recently like punk or indie wise that's like really caught your ear? I'm interested in what
Uh,
like kind of non hip hop stuff you're into right now.
uh, man, I'm still listening to the 1975's album that they came out with.
Okay.
Um, album's crazy. I can't remember if they came out with it late last year or if it was earlier this year. I don't
Is
know.
it
This year's,
the Note Sonic Conditional Form? Yeah.
yeah, that one,
Yeah, what
that
do you
one.
like about that album?
It just makes me feel good.
Mm.
I don't know how to put it, man. Like it's just good music. Like sonically, it just sounds really good. Um, there's not much else I'm really listening to. Like I've really been zoned in on Ultragrade and um, like the stuff I'm working with Aaron on and Dame, honestly, and just like continue to try to like crank out beats for like
Mm.
bigger artists too. So
Oh yeah,
um,
I know you've had a few opportunities to like contribute uh, tracks to some pretty well-known artists. So hopefully they make their way in there soon.
let's hope so, man. But I'm not banking on too much. Like that's just the game, honestly.
Yeah,
Like
no,
as long as like I'm in the conversations with some of these people, and, or I'm in contact with some of these A&Rs. Like that's cool, but I'm not really banking on that.
no, and I mean I think your stuff is quite worthy of that kind of thing. So I feel like if you keep pushing, it's only a matter of time, really.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, in due time, in due time.
Yeah. Yeah, is there anything that you wanted to plug besides the project and your socials and stuff, or do you want to just send people there?
Um, I appreciate everybody supporting me. I really didn't think that um, a lot of people will like fuck with it the way they fuck with it.
Mm.
Like I've always known my sound is kind of different. Um, but I just wasn't sure if everybody else would understand it. This was like my first project, like doing anything vocally. So, like personally, I'm proud of myself for doing that. And I just really appreciate everybody checking out the music. I'm working with a lot of people from the city, kind of branching out a little bit. Yeah, I don't know, man. A lot more to come. A lot more to come. I'm really zoned in right now. So
Awesome. Yeah, so the project is on all the streaming platforms, Ultragrade, Alexander Preston.
yes,
And
sir.
you are at World of Preston on everything?
On everything, on everything. My website is worldofpreston.online. Um, you need beats, just hit up the email there. Yeah, you can find my production credits on there as well. Any other questions you guys got for me, just send an email through there. So, yeah.
Awesome. People can follow at Shuttlecock Mag on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. The web store is shuttlecockmag.bigcartel.com. We got t-shirts, photozines, and buttons. I think that's it. That's every time I record these, like for the last several months, like I have to, like that one bit at the end is where I usually say, oh, here's the show that we have booked coming up, come to the show. And now I'm like, wait, there's something else to say. Oh, wait, there's no shows, shit. But yeah, thank you for being on the show today. It's about time we had you, and I'm sure you'll be back at some point and we'll have another great project to discuss.
Of course, bro. Appreciate you. Thank you.
Of course.